Hi, sorry. I had to make it in two parts. I'm having trouble with the size of the videos. This is chapter 18, part 2. I'm picking up on page 210. Bobby has just run to Merino Beach. What are you doing here? Working. She really looked different now. A big red bow on her ponytail, lipstick, a red bathing suit with white polka dots, beauty hints. She still didn't resemble the girl in my dreams, but she was a lot closer. Like a Coke? Sure. She looked like she knew what she was doing. She pulled a frosty bottle out of the big red Coca-Cola chest, popped off the cap with one flick of her wrist, and dropped a yellow straw into the bottle. Here you go. She banged the bottle down in front of me like a bartender in a Western movie. On the house. How long have you been working here? Since Wednesday. How'd you get the job? I came down to talk to Pete and Connie about the project. Our project? I thought I'd write something about small businesses for economics. She arched her eyebrows. Never saw that before. She must have practiced in the mirror. Pete was too busy to talk because Connie was sick, so I helped out. I did such a good job. He's giving me 50 cents an hour. It isn't very much, but I get lunch and tips. That's great. Don't get carried away now. No, I really mean it. Are you going to work the rest of the summer? I don't know. Connie should be back soon, but Pete thinks I'm terrific, so. She tossed her ponytail. Another new gesture. I wondered if there was a specific department for gestures in Beauty Hints, or had the plastic surgeon given her a list of moves to go with her new nose. Do you like the job? It's fabulous. I'm meeting a lot of people. Just the way she said that, I knew she meant boys. What's new? Nothing much. She leaned over the counter. I heard Pete and Michelle broke up. Yeah. What happened? Ask them. Come on, you can tell me. Whoever you are, I thought. I felt like I was talking to a stranger. Ugh, there's that creep again. I turned in time to see Willie Rumpson's face framed in his car window. He passed slowly, giving me the once-over. It sent chills up my spine. You know him? I asked coolly. Seen him around. Don't you remember? He was one of those hoods at the carnival. He's been cruising up and down the road all week. He stopped once and asked me for a date. She made a face, but I could tell she was a little bit proud. What'd you say? I told him I don't go out with strangers. Have you, been, going out? I might. There's another guy who's been hanging around the last few days. He's going to college next year. She tossed her ponytail again. She was turning into a real tease. Probably try out for the cheerleaders when we get back to school. Pete doesn't like him too much. I was really getting tired of her. Why don't you just go make out with Pete? She pretended she was considering it. Hey, what's the story about Pete and Michelle? What happened? Don't you remember? Curiosity killed the cat. But satisfaction. There he is again. Willie Rumpson was cruising past again, really casing the joint. When he caught me staring at him, he hit the accelerator and burned rubber down the road. I looked around. Marino's beach was emptying out. The sky was overcast. The air was cool. It wasn't a good swimming or sunbathing day, and summer people go home early on Friday afternoons to make dinner for the men coming up for the weekend. There were just a few families left on the sand, and a couple of kids jumping off the diving boards. Pete was tying up the boats. How do you get home? Sometimes I walk, but Pete said he'd drive me back today. You want a lift? I think so. Are you nervous about something? Can I have another Coke? You'll have to pay for this one. Okay. She got it for me and started wiping down the counter. "Excuse me, I've got to clean up now." I looked for Rumson on the road. There was a lot of traffic now. I may have missed him. Maybe he just gave up and drove away. I could still make a run for it with all the cars on the county road. He probably wouldn't try anything, but if he was as crazy as Jim Smith said, he just might not care. The kids on the diving boards were called in by their mothers. There were only 2 families on the beach, and they were packing to leave. Pete had finished tying up the boats, and he was raking the sand. He'd be closing in a few minutes. I didn't want to face him, but it was better than facing Willie Rumson. It was getting chillier. It might rain tonight. The sun disappeared behind a gray cloud. It felt like a fall day. Fall was definitely in the air. The school, if I lived that long. I thought I saw a blue and white car turn up the driveway a few hundred yards up the road. Rumson? Just waiting? "Da-dum!" said Joni. "How's it look?" She waved around the neat rows of candies and packaged cakes and paper cups. The faucets and the milkshake machine and the hot dog griddle gleamed. "Gorgeous," I said. Pete walked up carrying the rake and a bag of trash. When he saw me, he started to turn away. "Pete," said Joni, "could you give Bob a lift home?" "No, sorry," he mumbled, and he went behind the shack. The last 2 families got in their cars and drove away. The beach was empty. Except for the Merino Express, the parking lot was empty. In the distance, I heard thunder. Or was it Willie Rumson revving up his car? I found a nickel and I called home. Mom and Dad or Michelle would pick me up. The line was busy. I panicked and I ran around to the back of the shack. Pete was locking up the first aid room. "Willie Rumson's after me." "He's nothing. Maybe to you, but I can't take him, and he might have a knife or a tire jack." "Don't worry about it." He wouldn't look at me. "He's all bluff. I've been calling his bluff all summer, and he keeps beating me up. Jim Smith said, yeah, another Rumson punk. Could you drive me halfway up the hill?" Pete finally looked at me. His face was twisted. "I'm not allowed. I promised my father. I'm not even supposed to talk to you." "To me?" "To any member of your family." "Aren't you ever going to call up Michelle?" He turned his back to me. I ran back to the telephone. The line was still busy. It could be Michelle talking to a girlfriend. Every so often she gets into a marathon, and this could be one of them. "What's the matter, Bob?" asked Joni. "Pete won't drive me home." "Come on, I'll talk to him." We walked around the shack. Pete was rearranging some tools in the storage shed. I realized he had been stalling around till I went away. "Pete, why can't you—" Pete was looking over her shoulder, his mouth open. We both turned to see Willie Rumson swaggering towards us with a .22 caliber rifle in his hand.